What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the differences between British grocery stores and American grocery stores. I was very interested when I started thinking about the idea of grocery stores and how they're different between cultures and nations, and how different could they possibly be? That was my question. It was like, certainly maybe the stuff that's sold inside of the stores could be different, or could the experience really be all that different? I don't know. Or the brands are different. Maybe like the stores themselves are going to be different. I don't know how popular Walmart is in Britain. I don't know for sure. And I just started thinking about it, and I was like, what are the differences? What could they be between American grocery stores and British? And I don't know. I feel like this is going to be entertaining. So, without further ado, let's learn 5 ways British and American grocery stores are different. Okay.
Let's take a look at 5 big ways that British and American grocery stores slash supermarkets are so very different.
Oh, layout.
Yes.
Oh, wow, layout. I didn't even think about this. Layout? Is the layout that different? What kind of crazy stuff is going on? Who has the better layout? Oh, okay.
Yes, layout. As you can probably imagine, the layout of American grocery stores tends to be slightly different to that of Britain, but that makes sense. I mean, the United States itself is laid out quite differently to Britain. I don't just mean it's a different shape, I mean it incorporates different shapes. I did a video on this. Basically, America is obsessed with rectangles. Anyway, that's not connected to today's video. I think
we're obsessed with rectangles. Yes. Very. I find myself thinking of rectangles all the time. I'm obsessed. Okay, maybe the grocery stores are different based on what our two different cultures prioritize, like wanting to purchase? Maybe?
I think this difference might have changed a little bit in recent years. For instance, it's a common practice in both countries now to put the fresh veg right near the entrance section to give this illusion of health as you walk in, and then you walk over to the chocolate and everything falls apart. But other than that, as you're walking around the stores in both countries, you will see the odd difference, sometimes very odd difference. So, for instance, in some British grocery stores slash supermarkets, you might find the eggs not in the dairy section. What's that all about? And since I've moved to America, that seems to make sense, right? It's with the cheese, it's with the milk, the whipped cream, and so
I mean, at least, with the cold stuff.
genre-wise, that does make sense, but sometimes you will find things like eggs just, hanging around with the beans in England, and not refrigerated either. That's a shocking thing for a lot of Americans when they see that. The wine...
Not refrigerated? What is it about British eggs that they don't have to be refrigerated? I don't get it. What kind of crazy science are you onto over there? By the beans. Maybe that's a thing too, because beans are not a cultural institution in America. Sorry to say. So there's no big old important bean section per se to put the eggs next to. So, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, maybe.
Wine section might be found in a different spot to where you'd find it in US grocery.
Oh, the wine section. Oh, the US. The United States alcohol sections are something to behold. I mean, usually it's just 1 or 2 enormous dedicated aisles filled from top to bottom, left to right, with wine and alcohol.
When they see that. The wine section might be found in a different spot to where you'd find it in US grocery stores. Across both countries, though, it's always going to differ, especially depending on the actual store itself. So keep an eye out for that. And kind of connected to layout is our next entry.
Yeah, just touching on what he said, it does depend on what store you go to. Because in America, Walmart is basically feels like you're running around a supermarket warehouse, where no emphasis at all has been put on presentation. It's just all about efficiency and an enormous quantity of stuff to look at and to choose from. And it's not really focusing on looking that great, but it's cheap, so that's good. Whereas other places in America, grocery stores are trying to look good and feel nice to kind of go through, and that's going to present the stuff differently. I'm sure it's exactly the same in Britain in that sense. Size. I'm going to guess, because Americans, we love our food, we do, that maybe American grocery stores are much bigger? Is that what it is?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Size is not everything, though you probably wouldn't believe that if you saw the difference between UK supermarkets and American grocery stores.
Yeah.
I used to think as a kid that whenever my mum would drag me around Asda, which is one of our major supermarkets, that particular supermarket was absolutely huge.
Yes. He's going to say that the grocery store in America is enormous. And it is. I mean, it's like a warehouse. It's like an airplane hangar or something. Like, particularly Walmart superstores. I mean, you could walk around the whole thing and it'd take you like hours. Like, it is enormous. You could like get a workout in just walking around the place. It's gigantic.
And then I moved to America, and I was equally dragged around Walmart. And in recent years, the comparison between the two has become quite apt, and that is because Walmart owns Asda. But the fact remains that Asda, most of them anyway, are not located within their own zip code, postcode. Whereas Walmart, it might as well have its own zip code. Yeah. They're absolutely huge. They're so large, in fact, that just walking around the perimeter is enough for your weekly exercise.
Oh my gosh, he literally made the same joke. Oh my god. I mean, it's true. Like, I think that's just because it's true. Hold on, where's that picture? Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This is exactly what they look like. It looks like it's a mile long or something.
And because Walmart, and to a lesser extent Kroger, are absolutely massive, that means you have the following.
Variety. I feel like this is like a major benefit of living in America, because one thing I really appreciate is there's a ton of stuff. There's a ton of stuff. Ton of unhealthy stuff too. And a ton of variety. So many brands. Like, it's actually great. I feel like I try to appreciate it. I try to appreciate it, not take it for granted.
In the United Kingdom, nationwide, you've got the likes of Sainsbury's, Tesco, Morrison's, Asda. So we have choice in that regard, but once you get inside the stores, we probably don't have quite as much to offer as the United States, who, for instance, provide you with about 27 varieties of Coca-Cola. I haven't tried them all. In fact, I've barely tried any of them, but the rule seems to be that the brighter the packaging, the more varieties there'll be, and also the brighter the packaging, the least healthy it'll be. So to reiterate, American aisles have more variety than British aisles. That was a joke, wordplay. British Isles, you got it.
Oh.
Good. Walmart has such variety, you can even buy auto parts. They're usually at the back of the store.
Yeah, you can buy auto parts. Oh, you can buy furniture, auto parts, light bulbs, beds, couches, desks, food, cake, ice cream, pizza, clothing, baby supplies, anything, you know. As bad a rap as sometimes Walmart gets, I think secretly, deep down, Americans like it. We appreciate it, and a lot of variety, too. I don't know. I don't think we could get on without a Walmart at this point. We've kind of become dependent upon it.
Which is not the best place between you and me, because what if you're buying a big, hefty tyre? How are you going to get that out? You could roll it, that's true. In fact, that sounds amazing. I might do that. Next time I'm in Walmart, I've just remembered I'm never going back in a Walmart, so we're good. And
okay. I mean, there's an auto center in the Walmart. You can take your car there and get your oil changed or your tires rotated. Like, all that in a Walmart.
I don't drive. And speaking of purchases, once you get to the till/cash register, there's another chief difference between our two countries.
Sales tax. Oh. I mean, does Britain have sales tax? Sales tax is just so, like, in America, you just are used to it. You're used to buying a bunch of stuff and you know the price that was on the price tag is nowhere near what you're going to ultimately pay. And that's just normal. You stop thinking about it after a while.
I have to admit, this one got me long before I moved to the United States when I was visiting the state of Maine in 2004. I walked into a music shop, as you do. I much prefer music shops to supermarkets anyway. And I purchased a ukulele. I think I talked about this very recently. And in doing so, of course, I looked at the price. $15, which is cheap. I mean, don't ever do that again. It was good while it lasted, but it didn't last very long. So I took it to the counter expecting to pay exactly that in three $5 bills, only to be told,
No.
$17.32. I mean, I'm making that number up in hindsight.
Right. No, sometimes the sales tax can be kind of crazy, but it's only a few dollars even if you're buying a lot of stuff. Even if you're buying $60 in groceries, it's just a few dollars, but maybe that's significant to people from Britain. In America, it's just expected. Like, you see stuff listed everywhere for $9.99, $10.99, and you know it's going to be 12 something, and you don't even really think about it.
I didn't really get where that additional $2 came from. And it turns out that sales tax is applied at the point of sale, whereas in the United Kingdom, what you see on the price tag in the aisle itself is exactly what you'll pay for that item, so there's no surprises when you get to the till. I should say that...
Man, wouldn't that be something? That would be tough to get used to, in a way. I'm so used to the sales tax that seeing the actual amount you would pay on the sticker, on the price tag, that would be strange. It'd be great. I'd feel like I was saving money somehow.
That, I think in England, even when I'd go grocery shopping, I didn't calculate in my head each item as I went along, so I never really had a great idea about what that total was going to be anyway. It's usually when you're just purchasing single items this problem first arises. But anybody that's visiting America from the UK who usually doesn't give a second thought to VAT, you will have to give thought to sales tax, which is kind of the equivalent here of VAT. And like I said, that sales tax is not applied to the whole store before you even go in. You'll see it applied to your receipt after the fact.
Wow. So there is sales tax in Britain. It's just already calculated into the item's price tag. So when you look at it, Yeah, there's a whole marketing built in America. There's marketing built around the idea that there's no that sales tax isn't going to be shown to you. So everything's like $5.99. Just to because that's so much cheaper than $6, even though it is going to be $6 by the end.
It's not a huge deal. I got used to it, after a couple of years. One thing I'm still getting used to, though, is our final entry.
Okay. Brands. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense. This makes sense that it's the biggest and last category here. This would also be one of the most fun things, I think, about someone from Britain visiting America and someone from America visiting Britain is the different brands and kind of figuring out what's good and what's bad and, oh, that's new. And yeah, I think that'd actually be kind of fun. But there's got to be some overlap between the brands, I would imagine. Well, now I'm just curious.
Yes, brand differences, and I'm not talking about, this particular brand that you simply can't get an equivalent of in the UK. No, I'm talking about the exact same object, or typically food item, that has the same font and everything and look about it, but a completely different name.
Oh, I didn't think about this. Oh my gosh, yeah. Because there's probably brands of food and stuff that are global, and then they're just named differently in America and Britain to cater towards that culture specifically. Is there stuff that's the same item but named something else? I never thought of that.
Take, for instance, Axe versus Lynx. They're deodorants, don't eat
What?
them. I'm not suggesting these are all food items, but if you are a 14-year-old boy, you know what Axe deodorant is, or Lynx. They are exactly the same thing. They both have an X in it, much like an inordinate amount of brand differences, actually. You've got TJ Maxx versus TK Maxx. You've got ExxonMobil versus Esso. You've got Dove versus Galaxy. Huh? Alexa, what are they going to change your name to? I don't have Alexa. That was just a joke. But if you're from the US and you go over to the UK and you're walking around the shopping aisles and you're looking out for crisps/potato chips and you see one that looks a little bit like Lay's, Lay's, the American crisp company, it'll be called Walkers, but
Walkers. This is exactly what I was talking about. this would like have blown my mind if I'd ran into this, because I'd be thinking this packaging looks just like something else, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It like they're playing a trick on me that everyone's in on. Walkers, okay, I haven't heard of that.
Has the exact same font, everything else about it is the same, except for some of the flavours, bear that in mind. And some of the chocolate seems to live in an entirely different universe. Literally, in some cases, like I said before, the British Galaxy bar is...
Galaxy? That's not even close to Dove. Galaxy is Dove. Dove is Galaxy. And I wonder if it at all, like the ingredients are different sometimes too in different cultures. Like a lot of stuff in America, I think has way more sugar in it or corn syrup and stuff like that to cater to our overstimulated taste buds that have lost sensation or something like that. Man, I thought he was going to talk about like brands you can only get in Britain and not in America. And this is kind of like that, but with a twist.
Is Dove in America, Milky Way is Three Musketeers, and Mars is Milky Way. It's all one star cluster of monumental differences. And of course, there are absolutely loads. So next time you're in the other country, why not play a game of, oh, look, it's that thing we have back home, but they call it something wildly different. Isn't this fun?
That is literally exactly what would happen. Okay.
You know, you might get bored after a while. But send me your pictures. It will be amazing. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below some of the observations you've made over the differences between a British supermarket and an American grocery store. In the meantime, if you haven't had the chance to do so, please subscribe to my channel so that my video...
Okay. Well, I guess that's it. And of course, this video was by Lost in the Pond. It was just like... the best. I love his videos. Very, and I have to give it a like, of course. They're so informative and, of course, funny, which I do appreciate. And good observations. I did not know what to think about differences between grocery stores. Like, what could the differences be? Well, there's actually some significant differences, honestly. Not just in how the stores are laid out and... the brands, but the brands are like weird clones of each other with different names that gaslight you into thinking you don't, that that it's something you've seen before. Oh, that's kind of funny. And the sales tax, that was a good one. I really didn't know that about the sales tax. Man, making me feel like I save money. And the size, that's funny. That's probably one that I, might have been able to come up with on my own, but for the most part, this was great. Like, I learned something. I learned that there are significant differences between British and American grocery stores. Who knew? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to British culture, stuff in Britain I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.